that I can come home to. Yes, I am on my way.
Good morning. Welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. We're here for another interesting news thing that we're going to be doing, and we're going to be looking at the referees and their situation, because there's a little situation with the refereeing, as we would have probably seen on Sunday. And the reason Kavanagh is getting the abuse is VAR. So it was Paul Tierney, Cops, you are correct. But morning, Brad. Morning, bro. Big up to Tyler. Big up, Tyler. He's here. He's everywhere. Niall, absolutely. It was Paul Tierney who was refereeing the Liverpool game. It was, but he wasn't in VAR. And I can't remember where I said this. I think I said it a couple of days ago. The big referees actually need to be in VAR now. They don't need to be on the pitch. The main decisions are getting done at Stockley Park. So for me, I would I'd be putting the main one in there. He was VAR. VAR was the other guy. Good morning to everyone on this fine Wednesday. I want to thank Niall for streaming F1, as it got me into the sport and now even the game. I started my career mode yesterday. Big up. Formula One is great. You just, once you get into it, once you get the understanding of what it's all about, it is brilliant. Funnily enough, Chris Kavanagh is refereeing Spurs versus West Ham tonight. Well, that will be fine because he's not in VAR. The thing is, I'm no longer, and that's the thing. I need to know who's in VAR. I don't actually think there's VAR in Carabao Cup, but for me, I'm no longer interested on who's got the whistle. I'm interested who's in Stockley Park, because that's where all the decisions get made. That's where all the penalty shouts, the red cards, the goals, that's where everything's given. So I'm more interested who's in Stockley Park, if I'm being honest. Shout out to Belshran, also great man. But what are we going to talk about? Well, obviously refereeing. So the Athletic, according to the Athletic, and let's go, this needs to be bit by bit before I get Mark Clattenburg's thoughts on this. Let's go with why it wasn't given a red card. So why Harry Kane's challenge on Andrew Robertson was not a red card, right? According to the Athletic, Kane wasn't dismissed for a challenge as Robertson was jumping when fouled, which meant the Tottenham star did not catch him as severely. Right. So you want him to leave his foot planted so he breaks his leg? Okie dokie. There we go. Problem solved. Robertson, all you have to do is stand firm, have your leg snapped in half, but it's fine. Kane got sent off then. Come on, people. Come on. Use your bloody brain. No VAR today. That's probably a good thing. VAR only being used in semi-finals and finals. Got something. There we go. It's a hair. God knows. I was feeling like a woman with long hair. But that's just absolutely ridiculous. But what Clattenburg said is more. It's more substance on that, really. And then obviously you got John Aldridge, who's also put his 10 pence worth in. So Clattenburg says Kane endangered his opponent, and referees must do more to understand footballers, as Robertson has every right to move his leg out of the way. Well, of course he does. Right? Kane isn't the smallest of guys, even if he was. He's lunged into a tackle. The speed of which he's gone into that tackle is ridiculous. Then he's left his feet up. I mean, what is wrong with the people? I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. It is a complete madness and should not have happened. Like, it really shouldn't have happened. It is a joke. For me, VAR should be used in the Prem Championship, third round of the FA Cup and the round of 16 in the League Cup. Yeah, but then you've got the old issue of some people using VAR, some not, because some grounds can't take VAR because the cameras there and all that. So I agree with you to a degree, but, because of the whole setup of VAR, you just can't get all grounds with VAR. I think even Luton would probably have a Kenilworth Road would struggle to fit VAR in there. So it's very difficult. We only have it in the Prem games because obviously all the Prem teams need VAR. So, but there is that. According as I said, obviously according to the Athletic, but I think as referees we are sometimes guilty of knowing the laws of the game, but we don't understand the game, and that's the key bit. I think every referee probably knows all the laws of the game written down, but it's transferring that written into the practical, right? And I don't think enough referees are capable of doing that. VAR cannot get this wrong. Referees can because they have a split second. VAR have all of the angles. He's got slow motion. He can see the point of contact, and that is the key bit. I'm not blaming Tierney. Tierney had a howler game. He had a howler, right? Not seeing the penalty, the tackle on Robertson, booking Klopp. These he made a lot of dodgy decisions. He was very dodgy. But the issue is he's seeing that all on split second. I've had a referee. I've refereed where, I've given the decision and then at the end of the game I've gone, I really shouldn't have done that. That was not the right idea. That wasn't what I was meant to be doing. And I've got it wrong. You cannot get it wrong with VAR. You just can't. There's no excuses. None whatsoever. I don't want to hear it. There's not one excuse Chris Kavanagh can give to me that suggests even a slight suggestion of a reason why he got it wrong. Right? No way at all. Right? He has absolutely got to get these decisions right. They all do. Every single person who operates VAR needs to go and do that. I think they need to be able to get it right. That's what they need to do. Because at the moment, we're getting too many decisions just way wrong. Harry Kane should have seen red. He should have been sent off. And I would argue that he should receive a 3-match ban. Because that is unacceptable. And his attitude after the game was a fucking joke as well. He's not my captain. Right, that's the thing. Everyone goes, he's England captain. He's not my captain. I despise his attitude. I think he has got a shocking attitude. And he should have seen red for 100%. There's no consistency in refereeing. Kane should have got sent off, but no. He's the England captain, so he gets a yellow and Robbo gets a red. Absolutely appalling. I do obviously think the England captain thing is the thing. We've seen it way before, many a times before, and it's unfortunately that is true. Tyler says, true, they would struggle, they would. I do think we have really good referees. English officials have done well at the international games or Champions League games. I think maybe Mike Riley should be the one held accountable. I think there's an element of that. Yes, I think Mike Riley should step down. If I'm being honest, I think Mike Riley. We've seen too much. I think we've seen too much over the last, God knows how long. I think he's done out here. I do. I don't think he's good enough at all. And I think we should look to move him on or have him step down and someone else. I'd love to see Howard Webb take charge. I think he's one that I have on my own a huge amount of respect. So I would look at someone like Howard Webb. Even Clattenburg. I think Clattenburg could do the job very well. I think we need to look at these types of people for the job. Dylan says, I hear a lot of people saying VAR isn't the problem, it's the officials operating it wrongly. However, this just implies reasons why VAR can't be used at this moment in time. No, VAR needs to be used, right? VAR 100. There's no one on this planet that's about to sit here and tell me that VAR is not a helpful tool to these referees, because even these referees, they are thick as right. So for me, I think we 100% need VAR. It's inconsistent still, but at least half the decisions they get right. Like for me, I do think I do think we need to use VAR, but we need to train these referees properly. We see a lot of referees, and I myself did it, who referee down at grassroots level, who quit after 5 years, 10 years, because we're simply either not supported enough, not given the right tools, not given the right training, and not given enough support. They quit. So what we've currently got is we've got the ones who are, they're dedicated, but they're not going to say boo to a goose, because they'll be like, well, they get a nice paycheck in the Premier League. There's a few in the EFL that I'll probably move up to the Prem. And there's a few from the National League that I'd move up to the EFL. But, it's different when you start moving referees around. It's like that Australian referee. I think he's all right. I do think he's all right. Do I think he's all right in VAR? I couldn't tell you. I only saw him on the pitch, really. Big up Ravi. If people can't run it properly, we shouldn't use it until they can. But they can run it properly. They're just, again, the situation with VAR is it is a video referee, but it's a video assistant referee, but it's still controlled by a human. It's still controlled by a human brain. And you have to use that human element when making these decisions. And I think that's the issue. I think we rely too much on the referees implementing the rules of the game. Because for me, the rules are a little bit too confusing as well. But I also think we've got some really shocking referees who just don't know what they're doing. I have actually offered many a times on streams, I will go up to VAR. I still remember the laws of the game. I'll happily go to VAR and I'll happily do a video. I'll happily do a watch, or I would love to interview a current referee, not the former referees. We know what they think. They cannot believe the decisions that are being made. I would love to interview a Chris Kavanagh, a Paul Tierney, an Anthony Taylor, these types of referees, Michael Oliver. I would love to Andre Mariner is old school still, so I would love to get his idea. I want to talk. I would love to interview one of these refs, not because I want to throw them under a bus, right? But because I want to get an understanding of how these decisions in VAR keep going wrong, and how even now, when you've had VAR for over a year, we're still making these decisions so poorly. Now, I would love to just get their idea, get their viewpoint, because I don't think there's enough accountability for referees. And I'm not saying that I think, I want them in an interview where the reporter's absolutely slamming them and, about to choke slam them through a table like The Undertaker. But I do think we need to have more accountability. And I think that we need to start hearing from these referees, because you hear from them sometimes, when Neville and Carragher do a joint thing, or when they do a off on the spot, not on the spot, but sort of a planned interview for Sky. But I don't think we've seen them ever after a game justify their decisions. But we put the players in front. We put the managers in front to justify we put a manager in front of the camera to justify his decisions and substitutions, tactics, whatever. We ask a player to stand in front of a camera to justify what he does. And this is they're not even players contracted to the Premier League, right? And I think we're one of the only nations that actually sources our referees from a third-party source. These are not even Premier League referees. Like, these are from the PGMOL, right? The Professional Match Officials Limited, I think. So the fact that we don't even have, they're not even our referees. They're not even Premier League's referees. They are the PGMOL. And that, for me, is part of the problem. They're just a group. They're going to cover each other's asses. Put them in the Premier League. Give the FA or the Premier League the control over these referees, because I don't think there's enough control on them. Henderson over Kane for captain, England captain when Henderson actually plays. I'll probably just give it to Pickford, to be completely honest with you. He shouts a lot. he's never let England down. And to be frankly honest, he's better than Harry Kane. He has more of an impact than Harry Kane does. We saw Mike Riley's bias United in the early 2000s. He's a dodgy ref. So him being in charge is risky. I agree. For me, the two that I would like to see take charge of the referees are either Clattenburg or Howard Webb, because we know that they're consistent, which Brad agrees with there. Why don't referees get interviewed after a game? Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Honestly, I couldn't tell you why. I don't know why they don't. I think they should. I think it would make things a lot easier for people to think, to know what's going through their heads. I would ultimately get them interviewed, because just why not? Just why not? It's got to be done. It's got to be done. I'm a United fan, Dylan. That's me saying that. VAR is crucial to our game. We need it. However, I think we are in the worst generation of refereeing I've ever seen. It shouldn't be based on diverse, opinionated decisions. Consistency shall occur. Well, the rules are written there, so they should be consistent. But I don't know. It's a weird one. Taylor and Oliver are actually good referees, despite all the hate they get. Yeah, them two. They get a lot of hate, but for me, I don't hate any of them, because none of them referee Argyle. But I will say that, yeah, those two are the better ones. But I would disagree on the Tierney one. But this is not the first time I've seen Tierney have a howler. Carabao Cup final last season, he was referee. I think it was his first final as well. And boy, I think he should be taking off final duties this year, because he had a howler last year. A howler. I remember, I think Laporte or one of the City players should have been sent off for a double yellow. It didn't happen. And I was like, so it's not the first time I've seen Tierney have a howler. It's not the first time. The Manchester City was an absolute howler, worse than the Spurs Liverpool performance for me. Man City. Oh yeah, Fraser got took out by Edison. All right, I think I remember the one you're on about. Now, thoughts on Peter Walton. I think he's a clown, and all ex-referees just seem to back their mates, trying to find any excuse for shocking decisions. I don't rate Peter Walton, never have done. There's a running joke that if Peter Walton says it's a yellow, it's a red. If Peter Walton says it's nothing, it's a yellow. And if Peter Walton says it's a red, you get executed. There's a running joke that whatever Peter says it is, look for the punishment above that. So if he says nothing, then if he says that should be a red, he'll probably get it. It's not even a foul. So that's the issue of Peter Walton for me. He's not good enough either. But that was a joke. They didn't even check for a pen. City would still have won the game. Spurs Liverpool would have gone different if Kane is sent off. That is true. I actually think Mike Dean is a justifiable reason for not doing interviews as games as refs. Despite it being great for the viewers, if they have a great performance as a ref, Sky BT won't interview them, which is unfair. They only want to hear them when they have a poor game. That's why I'm not so. And that is true. That is true. But I think we need to find people who can be more. For me, I think that's why you need to find someone who is able to be open-minded. I think if a referee's had a good game, we should absolutely we should praise them. And I have done myself. I mean, I do think that we need to praise the referees when they have a good game. 100%. There's no denying that. When a referee has a good game, we must praise them, because that is exactly what we want. Like, we want them having good games. But when they do a poor game, I do think that we should call them out as well. So it's a bit of both on that. Always try and back and support refs, but it can get very hard. That is true. Ramsdale will get over Pickford, I think, potentially. Then again, Southgate is charged. Yeah. Pickford does have nudes of Gareth Southgate, so don't expect that change to happen under his tenure. Michael Oliver takes no shit. However, yeah, we always get him in the Manchester derbies, and he's annoying. Well, just because he's annoying, that doesn't quite make him a bad referee. I think it's time I think there was that time where the most baffling call was Lee Mason when he allowed Dunk to take a free kick and disallowed it. Yeah, that was his last season. He's gone to VAR now, but he's permanent VAR. I couldn't get my head around it. I just couldn't. These refs a potential cost. Teams the title one. That could. Big up now. Hope you're well, getting used to morning streams. Absolutely. What do you think of Kevin Friend? Inconsistent. He's not the worst. I could name worse. He's not amazing though. He's a bit shocking. These refs are potential. Yep, got that one done. Bloody Kevin Friend. Now, what are the refs like in the EFL? You don't want to know. You just don't want to know. They take. You think Premier League referees are bad? I mean, some of the decisions we see in the EFL. Oh boy, we haven't got enough time to cover all of that. For me, he doesn't get enough games in the Premier League. Who, Kevin Friend? Oh Lord. EFL wants a show too. They are. Yeah, they should interview after a game. However, we just know at this moment in time, you've used a big word that not even I can say. And institutions like Sky BT won't give them airtime after every game, whether they are good or bad. It's always profitable for them. Well, then, if they want fair, balanced reporting, then just, I'll send a StreamYard link and we'll get them on a stream here, and we'll just be balanced and fair together. You don't need to go to the thing is, you don't need to go to a big institution like Sky Sports or BT Sport. If you're worried that they're not going to give you fair, service, then, go to a YouTube channel. I'm not joking. Genuinely, if we need to get this clipped up, because if the referees are worried about, them not being praised or them needing, it not being fair, then come here. I'll send you a StreamYard link every Monday. We'll sit down together. We'll pick a different referee each week. We'll sit down together and we'll go through some of the big calls and we'll try to understand why they were given. And if you've had a good game, I'll give you a chocolate bar. Well, an apple. You could probably, yeah. So if they want, fair, balanced reporting, then get them on here. I can give you fair, balanced reporting. Apart from Mike Dean, I don't give Mike Dean fair, balanced reporting. I'm not interviewing Mike Dean. Kevin Friend is just average. 42% of challenge one calls are overturned. That's scary. That is scary. At least VAR means it's sort of doing their job. Yes, get them on StreamYard. Absolutely. I'm a fan of Peter Banks as a referee. Andy Madley has impressed me too. Peter Banks I have no issue with. Madley, I'm still waiting. I like Madley, but he just does his job correctly, and that's it. You don't hear much about him. That's a good thing for refs. Remember Bobby Madley? Where is he now? In the EFL. He's in the EFL. Argyle actually had him. Moss decision at City last week shows how does that not go over to handball versus Wolves? I mean, I don't know how that was given. John Moss. Oh Lord. Up early now. We're always up early now. Always. Peter. Phil Dowd is another joke. A lot of refs never want to talk about decisions. They just go with VAR even if they know it's the wrong decision. Yeah, I think some do. EFL referee got sacked in 2018. Yeah, that's the one. But back to what Kattenberg was saying. For me, he says VAR got this wrong. Referees can, because they have a split second. VAR have all the angles. He's got slow-mo. You can see point of contact. If they're saying that his leg has to be planted, which is a new one to me, if the leg was high, the studs are showing, it's reckless. He's lunged for me. It's endangered the safety of the opponent. So this is literally Mark Clattenburg, one of the best referees of the 21st century, saying if they are saying his leg has to be planted, which is a new one to me. So even back in the day, you didn't have to have your leg planted for it to be a reckless challenge. That is the issue. That is for me the issue instantly. If Clattenburg's saying, well, I never had that as a law, that must mean that's something new. What? So you have to snap your leg in half for it to be a red card? If you jump, it's only a yellow. Like, are we hearing ourselves at the moment? A referee's seriously trying to tell us that you have to have your leg planted and you have to accept you're going to break your leg for them to get sent off. Is that what they're trying to tell us? Because if that's what they're trying to tell us, then we've got a very big problem, you know. Got a big problem. Huge problem, right? Huge problem. That is ridiculous. Thoughts on Atkinson, Andre Mariner? I like them. Yeah, I do. I like Andre Mariner a lot. He's very consistent. Atkinson, yeah, he's all right. He's all right. Mariner is a brilliant referee. He's one I have big respect for. Yeah, I love Mariner. Mariner needs, for me, to be in VAR for the big games. He's so good, very consistent. My favourite referee has to be Niall. Absolutely. Robbo is lucky today that he's still walking. We should understand footballers more because he's not going to leave his leg there. Why should he? He's not going to want his leg broken and put his career in doubt. And again, another pretty damn good one there from him. Kane, and this is the bit that this is Harry Kane talking, and this alarms me a lot. Kane says he wasn't worried about being sent off for a tackle as he felt he won the ball. You didn't even touch the bloody ball. Right, so you didn't even touch the bloody ball. It was a strong tackle, but I thought I won the ball. You didn't touch the ball, but okay. Kane told Sky Sports. Obviously, I hadn't seen it back. When you are playing against top sides and fighting for points, sometimes there'll be strong tackles. They've checked it and we move on. No, we don't move on, mate. No, that's not how this works. Right? You are a vile piece of shit. Just putting that politely. Right? I've got worse that I could say about Harry Kane. When he's put in front of a screen, remember, he was put in front of a screen to talk about his diving. Literally, him diving. And he didn't bother. He was like, no, it's absolutely wonderful. It's fine. That's brilliant. Not a problem. Harry Kane has never taken accountability in his life, let alone, taking accountability for something he's done wrong. He dived once, and he was like, there was contact. You could clearly see there wasn't. So I despise Harry Kane. I do. I think he's disgusting. John Aldridge said the referee on Sunday had a really poor game, which caused big issues. But the VAR was worse for not amending his decisions, which I completely agree with. Everyone has a stinker for whatever reasons. Players, they get substituted, but referees have stinkers. They have VAR who can help them out. But he compounded the pressure put on the referee from Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool fans and pundits for whatever reason, helping the referee out. He should be demoted. Chris Kavanagh should be demoted. And the referee, Paul Tierney, should be demoted. If the players have bad games, they get dropped. There's a difference between, the way I would do it, I think demoted is the wrong word. Because if Divock Origi has a bad game, he's not dropped to the under-21s, is he? It's not. Jurgen Klopp doesn't just go, Divock, you had a bad game, you go train with the kids. He doesn't do that, right? He may not play him in the next game, which is fine. Take him off match duties for the next game, or don't give him a big game for 5 weeks, or whatever, for whatever. That could be an adequate punishment. Fine them or something. And that's the thing. You don't need to demote them, because, as I said, Divock Origi, if he has a stinker, doesn't get banished to the under-23s. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang does, but Arsenal operate a no shit Sherlock policy. But for me, demoting them is the wrong word. I think we should look to improve them, not demote them. I think, you're not going to get better referees. That's all I'm saying. If we give them the training, we give them the help, we help them with their decisions, we will get better referees. Demoting them, trust me, as someone who's watched EFL football quite a bit, you're not going to get an improvement. I can assure you of that. You are going to get much worse. So, there's that. I could do a job at VAR too. Let's raid Stockley Park now, me and you. Absolutely. Let's do this. We've been saying this a long time about referees, but they stick up for each other from top to bottom, then they hide. They're only human, but they have bad games anyway. So Kavanagh, for me, is worse than the referee. And I agree with that last bit in terms of Kavanagh, for me, is worse than Tierney in this situation. I think that is true. The VAR should never get this wrong. They are only human. We must remember that. They are only human. They can have bad games, but we compound a lot of these issues by not dealing with them in the right way. And ultimately, I think that's the issue. But what I'm going to do, as always for these types of shows, I'll put the link in the chat if anyone wants to pop on and talk about the standard of refereeing or for whatever you want to talk about in terms of this situation. And yes, so what I need to do is I just need to go onto the video. If I do this on the phone, my computer doesn't go absolutely berserk. So that's why I'm going to do it there. Thoughts on Stuart Outwell? Again, just average, just a pretty average referee who's got a little bit of. He's all right. He's better than the thing is, there's a lot of referees who are just good. They're just average, and that's fine. We don't need them all to be, world class. Ideally, they would be. They don't need to be, but I think a lot of them are just, they're just bog standard average. But Tyler's here. Big up, Tyler.
Big up.
How are we doing?
Yeah, we're all right. Yourself?
Yeah, not doing too bad. Just having coffee, moaning about referees. It's the perfect start to a morning.
yeah. No,
but
definitely.
Look, it was against your team. Firstly, talk to me about what you think of these sorts of decisions. Majority of the Harry Kane one. Look, we know the Jota one was definitely a penalty, and how that wasn't given is beyond me. And we all know that Robbo should have seen red. Robbo should have been sent off. He's gone through the back of him. He's frustrated, I get it, but he's just he's hacked out a player, and that, I'm afraid, is a red card. But then I will say, for consistency views, Milivojevic for Crystal Palace versus Arsenal should also have been sent off, because, hey presto, he did the same to Saka, probably worse, because I think there was a lot more power in Milivojevic's kick than Robbo's. So for me, on a consistent level, Milivojevic should have been sent off as well. But Robbo should have seen red. I think you can't just say because he wasn't sent off, Robbo shouldn't be sent off. Robbo should be off. But the Harry Kane one, that's the. I don't like to use it because this inflames the sort of situation, but it's a leg breaker.
It is. Imagine if Robertson's foot was planted.
Well, that's the only way that a player gets sent off nowadays. But I'm not joking. According to let me read the comment from Kattenberg. Where is it? If they are saying that his leg has to be planted, for me that is a new one. If the leg was high, the studs are showing, it's reckless. He's lunged. For me, he's endangered the opponent of the safety of the opponent. I thought it was MacArthur, not. There we go. Yeah, it was MacArthur. I've got the wrong one. You are right. It was MacArthur.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Similar names.
Yeah, 100%. They both begin with M, so that's my excuse. But no, it's a leg breaker, and for me, how that's not being picked up by the referee, and then secondly, Kavanagh in VAR with about 90 different views and slow motion is beyond me.
Yeah, no, definitely. For me, I was watching this thing the other day, and they were obviously talking about it, and they were saying, you know, because of the amount of decisions, it just seems like, you know, people are probably just, oh, what you want about, what you want about. This ain't even what I said. People like saying it could be like an agenda, because you got to think how many fouls actually were there? The Royale one, the Kane one.
To back up the referees, they have been told not to give fouls for small misdemeanors, shall we say. So a little shove isn't going to get a foul anymore. They have been told to be a bit more lenient, shall we say. It's annoying to hear, I know, but, you know, it has to be a proper foul now. You can't, as we were seeing some of the most ridiculous fouls in world football. You know, some of them I was like, that's not even a foul in rugby, let alone fucking football. Like, that's not even a foul in netball, and that's a non-contact sport. But, you know, you sort of just like, oh, dear me, Salah, why are you on the floor, mate? Get back up. And it's not just Salah. You could do that to Ronaldo, and he's on the floor, probably on the phone to the police calling assault. But, you know, they do need to be stronger. But there's been, you know, there's allowing some tackles, and then there's allowing Harry Kane to try and break someone's leg. I mean, there's a complete difference. And I suppose what makes it even worse for him is the Scotland captain got sent off in the second half for, I'm not going to say it was worse. I'm not going to say it was less worse, but he's got sent off for a lesser foul.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, obviously, I've said it to you. I think I've said it on here a few times. For me, they're both reds, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. The thing with Robertson, I also saw this thing, and it like people were saying he looked like, as well as he was not great in the first half, you know, in the second half he looked like he wanted it. He looked like one of the only players on the pitch that actually, maybe other than Alisson, that looked like that, and Kanate, that looked like they actually wanted it in that game. So
his celebration did that's been put on the pictures of unforeseen circumstances, or you know. But Kenny, you're sort of impartial. No one can see your name, which is a relief, because it says Chris Kavanagh GR. So I'm guessing you're just trying to troll Liverpool fans here. But what's your thoughts of the tackle on Robertson from Harry Kane? And try to be diplomatic.
Yeah, I think it was a red card. He did get the ball after, but with his hand. So I'm not really sure that really counts, does it? So yeah, it's a
no. You are absolutely right, Kelly. That doesn't count, and that's technically handball. So if we want to get pedantic, that's handball as well. We'll add that to a list of misdemeanors he's got to face. But yeah,
it definitely should have been a red. I think both should have been reds, to be honest. But
yeah, I think that's fair.
It's really inconsistent though with decisions. Just gets annoying sometimes.
So I've said that the more important job is VAR now. I've said that the better referee needs to be in VAR. Tyler, what's your thoughts? Does the better referee need to be in VAR where these decisions are being made, or does he need to be in the centre circle with the whistle? What's your view on that?
Yeah, it's got to be VAR, because you know that's how they run off the decisions now. Like I've said it as well with VAR. Like I think it's, you know, good how they've got other people looking at it and that. But for certain things, why they, like, especially when they're long decisions where they're going to take you a while, why are they not going to the screens for everything? I don't understand.
Well, they are meant to try and they're meant to, unless it's really obvious.
Especially considering they're the one, unless it's obvious. But yeah, what I'm saying with the long ones, like I don't understand. Like they're the ones on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? They're controlling that game. Yeah, you've got others looking at it, but they're the ones actually on the pitch.
Well, and they have been told to try and send the referee to the monitor as many times as possible, because don't forget, we are meant to have the referee in the game. Right, so it shouldn't be VAR referee in the game. It should be the actual referee. So I completely hear you, and I agree, 100%.
Like at the end of the day, yeah, it's sick. You got other people looking, like, you know, it helps you out, you know, but they should be going to the screen. Like, did they even go to the screen on the Kane one?
Not for the Kane one, no.
No.
And don't ask me why.
They should have went for both. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Don't ask me why they didn't go to the screen for the Kane one, because you know,
See what I mean?
I feel like he should have been sent to the screen.
Definitely.
I know. I completely agree. He should have gone. He should have been told, Stuart, mate. Not Stuart. Paul. You get to that screen now, mate. You've had an absolute stinker, lad. Absolute stinker. Go to the screen, mate. I've seen it, and I'm just chuckling how you've not seen it. Go to the screen. You'll know what you've done wrong. But I don't think they do that. I think they go, shit, you're going to get battered in the press tomorrow. Just say nothing. Just say absolutely nothing, lad. I'll buy you a Big Mac on the way home. Like, it's an absolute joke. But Kenny, what about you? Do you feel that the referee, the more important referee, now needs to be in Stockley Park instead of in the stadium? Because on the pitch, because I feel that's where the big decisions are being made. That's ultimately, you know, where goals are being disallowed. It's where red cards are being handed out, and all of that. It's where all the checking goes on. So, I mean, is it fair to say that you could probably just have an absolute twat in the middle of the pitch getting everything wrong, as long as it's all overturned by the one in Stockley Park? So you could have Mike Dean reffing. You could have Mike Dean reffing all the games, and just get them all overturned by Mike Walliver in VAR.
Mike Dean, John Moss, and Chris Kavanagh refereeing all the Premier League games.
Kavanagh's not actually. I will stick up for Kavanagh a little bit, even though I probably shouldn't. It's not actually that bad of a referee. He's just had an absolute howler. He's got the Robbo one right. He didn't make that decision, but he's got the Robbo one right. He's had a stinker, but he's normally all right. But
I remember United West Brom last season, and when he gave us a penalty, I didn't give them one. But yeah, I do think that's where the big decision happens, isn't it? That's where the final decision happens. You have to have the better referee in VAR, really. It's not to say you shouldn't have a good referee on the pitch, but VAR is much more important in the grand scheme of.
In the grand scheme of things, I probably wouldn't even bother having a referee on the pitch. I'll just let Hornswoggle with the whistle just walking around the pitch, like, to be frankly honest, because that's really the standard that we're getting. Kenny, in terms of the screen thing, do you think Tierney should have been sent to a screen for Harry Kane?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't see any reason why not. The only reason why not, which I could think of, is that they just make him get a red card straight away before even looking at the screen. Yeah,
my only thinking is they're on commission, and if they run too much, then they have to be paid more. So therefore, the run into a screen might be an issue. I know for Lee Mason, it would have been an absolute catastrophe, because getting that fat shit to move his ass to the screen every single time would have been fucking impossible. But essentially what you'd have needed to have done is got a tablet and have the fourth official run onto a pitch to Lee Mason and hand him a tablet to look at it on, because getting that fat shit to move his ass to the screen every single time would have been very difficult. I mean, I'm no Slim Shady myself. Like, I'm not slim. But even I would be able. I swear I ran more than Lee Mason. I swear, and that is sort of a joke. Refs need to get some balls. Just because Harry Kane is who he is, don't mean he can't be sent off. Jesus, I would have sent him off, and I would have had a smile doing it. I'd have been like, "You cunt! Here's your red card, off you go." But referee, right? What about slap his legs, mate? 2 foot him. Let's see if he likes it. Oh, he's jumped out the way. Well, your leg wasn't planted, so that's not a red card. You know, just going for what the referees are saying nowadays. Your leg wasn't planted, Harry. You jumped out the way. If you wanted him sent off, you needed to have stood there and had your leg broken in half. It's not Harry Kane's fault, of course, but, you know, just using the referee examples on themselves. Also, Kane, I think that was a strong tackle, but I'm pretty sure Robbo got the ball, mate. That's my understanding. There can't be one rule for one and one rule for another. That is true. I get people get things wrong, but we need more consistency. These decisions are costing teams 3 points or ties or wins. Yeah, I think we do need more consistencies. That is true. Refs need to be impartial and have no bias. It's no wonder that people get angry at refs and they think they support certain teams. No, look, referees don't. I can assure you, as someone who's actually done refereeing, you actually have to give the team you support to the FA, right? So when I first started, even though the chances of me reffing Plymouth Argyle were slim at best, because I wasn't quite at that level, they still go, who do you support? I go Plymouth Argyle. That means I'm automatically banned from reffing Argyle games for obvious reasons. I'm also not allowed to referee Exeter City games because of obvious reasons. And then the higher you get, I'm pretty sure they'll go through an interview and sort of probably ask you on some of the main, like, you know, not rivals, but the ones, like, for me, it would be like Bristol Rovers, Torquay United. What's your viewpoint? Bristol City. What's your viewpoint on these? Can you referee these games unbiasedly? 9 out of 10 times, yes, I could, because I don't really care about them. If it was Exeter City, of course, I'm doing the odd red card just for pure banter. And for Plymouth Argyle, that's a penalty. Referee, that's the halfway line. That's a penalty for Argyle. It was the Argyle player who tackled him. That's a penalty for Argyle. I don't know what you're on about. But that is obviously why you can referee the team you support. But, you know, they shouldn't show bias. You're absolutely you're absolutely right. But big up Fluffy Puffy Puppy. I don't understand what the 4 officials does in the UCL. Just chilling, watching a free game. The 4th official, the 4th official's an interesting one. He does substitutes. And he's there to talk to the managers if they've got a problem. He's essentially a glorified counsellor, especially when Jurgen's there. Because he's sort of got to go up to Jurgen going, calm down, Jurgen, it's fine, right? Just chill. And then there's Jurgen Klopp about to headbutt the fucker. It's like, Jurgen's like, it's not fine, bang! All right, Jurgen, referee comes over, you're getting booked. Okie dokie. And then bows down to them. It's like, I think that was the important thing. And I do want to, before obviously we do wrap up, because I don't want to be talking about referees forever. But I do want to talk about Jurgen Klopp and his comments towards Paul Tierney. I have no issue with Jurgen Klopp wanting to express his opinion to Paul Tierney, because ultimately I would have done the same thing, right? And I would have spoken a lot louder, and I would have he knew the camera was there. Jurgen knew the camera was there. I've no issue with him doing that. Tyler, as a biased one, obviously you are sort of biased about this, being a Liverpool fan. Do you have any issues with how Jurgen conducted himself on Sunday?
No, because I know this might be a bit of a poor excuse, but you've also got to look like the game was literally just played. So, and the way it ended, it weren't like, if he come out and said it maybe a couple of days after, you would have thought, well, like, have you not relaxed a little? Obviously, you'd still be vexed, like, rightly so, but have you not, like, chilled out a little bit? But, you know, it is straight after the game, and I don't know. So, for me, I don't see it's not like he said anything really bad, is it? He just said, don't.
He's just basically said, I have no issues with other referees, just you. And I'm like, Jurgen, you should have an issue with Kavanagh. He is the VAR, and I'm sure Jurgen probably does have issues with VAR, Kavanagh, and all of that. But Kenny, you're unbiased on this situation, sort of. Do you think Jurgen conducted him? Well, I did think that, because Kenny doesn't like the top 4, does he? But he of course doesn't like City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal. But Kenny, did Jurgen conduct himself in the correct manner on Sunday?
I think I wouldn't have an issue with it if it wasn't for the fact that because previously I've had managers say things that are like, well, that's worse than the things they said. Like Pochettino, for example, you got Jose Mourinho a lot of the time that they get banned on the touchline for a few games. So I wouldn't have an issue with it if it weren't for that. Because
they had a blank letter for Jose. They would just put the misdemeanor in there. It would literally be like, "Dear Jose Mourinho," and they would have the whole letter, and then they'll just leave a space for the reason he's banned this time, and it would be like, "Yeah, send that one to Jose." Actually, fuck it, we'll just ring him. Yeah, Jose, you're getting banned for that one. He'll be like, "Yeah, I gathered that. I've already booked myself into the hospitality suite at Old Trafford or Stamford Bridge or wherever he's going." But carry on, Kenneth.
In the grand scheme, it's I don't have that much of a problem with it. It's just that we've seen stuff that's not as bad said in the past, and we've seen them get banned. So
that's a fair one. I mean, we should really be doing it on an individual basis. No doubt Jurgen will get fined. He will get fined. I've no doubt about it. This is the PGMOL. You've just said you have an issue of one of our best mates. How dare you? That will be a £20,000 fine.
Yeah.
That is sort of the thing. And look, luckily I can't get fined by the PGMOL. So I will just say that they had an absolute howler. But we are going to wrap it up there. We will be back at 5, where we do maybe transfers or God knows what's next. You never know with what news could be coming out of football. And then we are doing a watch along tonight: West Ham versus Spurs, Conte versus Moisey. That could get quite passionate down
London
on that
derby as well. West Ham have a good record against Spurs the last couple of years.
That is true. That is true. It could get quite personal down the touchline. Scottish versus Italian. There's going to be a lot of passion down in that touchline. Yeah. I wouldn't like to be the fourth official, because he might want like a sumo wrestling suit, just to offer a little bit of protection when those two go at it. But no, luckily there's no Fergie on the touchline anymore. Could you imagine that? Oh my lord, Fergie and Klopp. Oh
then
lord,
again, I don't know. I've never really seen more, like obviously as an interview, but during a game, I don't think I've ever seen him proper. Well, not recently anyway. Proper vexed.
Who? Yeah.
Well,
no, Moyes.
Oh, Moyes. Yeah, Moyes is fine, but I'm thinking. I just said
game, mate. Even if we're 5-0 up.
I just said, could you imagine Fergie and Jurgen on the touchline together?
Yeah, that would be crazy.
I would not like fourth official like I'm ill. Yeah, I've just shot myself. Yeah, I've just full on shot myself. No, I'm not doing it. They'll kill me. That would be brutal. That would be brutal. Like genuinely, it'd be like you two. Ding ding ding! Just fight out, boys. It would be, but Jurgen for me is the closest to Fergie we've ever had. Kenny, you'll know Fergie. Is that fair? Say that Jurgen's the closest to Fergie we've got or ever had.
He plays a different playing style, but yeah, he's a really good manager. He plays a different playing style, but his attitude's the same. His like mannerisms.
I was just about to say, I wasn't really talking about their fucking playing style, Kenny. Of course they've got it different. Although actually they don't really, because Fergie was a high pressing team and played a 4-3-3 towards the end of his tenure.
But also they've been the same in the way they've turned, average players into world class players.
Yeah, and to be fair, Fergie's probably the one who did the false 9 before anyone, because for me, Dimitar Berbatov wasn't an out-and-out number 9. He was that one who'd sort of drop in deep, and Berbatov was an interesting one. He was a lazy fuck, but he would always get into gear just when he knew when he needed to work and when he didn't. He'd be walking around the pitch going, "I'm Dimitar Berbatov and you're a wanker." And then just suddenly a ball would come in. He'd be like, "Boom, done, ready, get me a goal." And Berbatov was the first one that I thought, he'd drop a bit deeper, do the link up. So Fergie for me is one who first did this false nine bullshit, not Pep. But that is fair. But in terms of mannerisms and attitudes, I'd say Jurgen and Fergie are very similar. But we are going to wrap it up there. Back at 5, so make sure you tune in for that for the evening show. Again, not really sure. We'll work out what news comes out in the next 6 hours and go from there. I'm also going to give myself a haircut. I've had enough. It's coming off again.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go outside and hunt the grannies down and all of that. Skinhead Niall is coming back because it's just doing mad.
Actually, I might get it today. What day is it? Wednesday. Tuesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, I might get it today.
Wednesday the 22nd of December. The year is 2020.
All right.
I was about to say 2022. Before you go, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Make sure you turn notifications on. If you want to check out our socials, Twitter, Let's Talk EPL, Instagram, Let's Talk EPL_, and on TikTok, Let's Talk Premier League. Join our Discord server. All links are in the description down below. If you've got this far, leave a comment as well, also down below. Let me know what you think. But Tyler, where can they find you, mate?
T-Boys TV there. I also have another channel now, T-Boys TV Extra. That is in the link on my recent stream on there. So if you could subscribe to that as well, it would be much appreciated. And yeah, cheers for bringing me on, Niall.
Not a problem. Kenny, what about you?
On Twitter at KennyV210, you'll have to request the account that is private. Twitch, Kenny United fan, and YouTube and YouTube Kenny TV.
You can also find his other Twitter, which is at Astrid Wet.
Whoa! No.
Not this again.
No.
I swear you just did a video with Cal the Dragon.
No. I was told. I was Cal.
On that note, guys, see you later. Bye-bye.